Hi, it's time for the All Stars review of the season finale of All Stars where they crown the winning queen. This is Nick's Nerd Network, and I'm Nick.
And we're
We're
not.
not.
All right, so I want to start this off by first apologizing. My voice sounds a little bit weird. I've been sick for like 10 days, so I'm getting over it. So sorry about last week's episode. But let's get into this episode of All Stars. Season finale. It was very exciting. So one of the first things I want to ask you guys is, who do you think, in terms of the dance performance, performed the best? We'll just each say who we thought was best first, then we can talk about it.
Shangela, hands down.
What about you, Elias?
I would say Shangela.
I think for me, it was like, if it was dancing centered, Shangela for sure. If it was in terms of like the lyrics and who was like really fun to watch, I thought Trixie was also fun to watch.
Yes.
And I thought her lyrics were really good. But I think overall, I would also go with Shangela. So it looks like we all agree there. Who do we think performed or underperformed the most?
I say Baby. Just
Yeah.
because, I mean, she literally sat behind a sewing machine, got up,
Yeah.
stood in front of the table, and vogued. I mean, okay.
And she can't even sew. That's
Yeah.
the funny part. They should have Aja in the background of that scene. What did you think?
BB.
As well. Yeah, I think we can agree there. It was pretty cut and dry there of who was the top and who was the bottom. So let's talk about where they deliberated or over the episode in general. Who do you think out of the top four was kind of like the shadiest, just in terms of the interview or the episode overall?
I think, I mean, if we're talking about who threw shade, I think the only one that really threw shade was Trixie when she kind of talked about Kennedy's dress and,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, that's really the only shady thing that I heard out of all four of them pleading their case.
What about you, Elias?
I would say, I mean, Trixie threw the shade, but it was because she got asked the question and she answered it honestly. So
That's true, and that's what they wanted. They wanted honest answers. If she had just omitted, I honestly thought BB was probably the shadiest of the episode because not only did she refuse to tell anyone who, like, she was asked questions that she refused to answer, including the lipstick question, and it was really ironic because at the beginning of this episode, she asked who the other queen was going to send home after she made a big stink over at the last episode. So she was very hypocritical. And I think that in terms of all the interviewers' questions, she really left me like wanting more. I mean, I really don't feel like I've gotten to know her at all over the season, other than she's from Africa, which seems to be a big part of her shtick. So we disagree there. So Trixie and BB.
I mean, I didn't get to finish, but I think.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I didn't like BB's answers at all because I felt the same way. She was not opening up at all. The rest of them did.
Right. She's like, I just choose to omit, and that's not an answer. You can't do that.
Well, I mean, in fairness to that situation, she didn't tell them, but she also didn't tell the other girls that were still in the race. So, I mean, she kind of stuck to her guns.
She didn't, though. She said that, like, oh, well, you know, I promised the other girls I wouldn't tell anyone, as if it was like they're all big conspiracy. Morgan was there. She knows what happened. She was sitting right in front of her.
Right.
And she lied. She tried to cover her tracks. She's telling two different stories. She's like, oh, I'm not going to break my promise to the girls. The other girls want to know who you picked too. They made fun of you at the beginning of this episode for it.
Yeah.
But she stuck to her guns. That's what I'm saying. I mean, nobody knew.
I don't know. I was unimpressed. So let's talk about who do you think maybe asked the shadiest questions in terms of the eliminated queens?
God, Aja wouldn't shut up.
Yes.
It was the Aja panel show. I mean, Lord,
She does do her best at the reunions. That's what we've seen.
she's a scene stealer there. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think Aja. I thought she asked some good questions,
She did.
but she did ask a lot of like shit stirring questions. I'd also throw in Thorgy. She asked about the
Yeah.
lipsticks. She knew
Yeah.
what the answer was going to be. So, yeah, I would agree with you there. So, who do you think you would have chose as your top two if you were the ones in the bottom deciding who was going to be the top two?
I mean, if you look at the track record over the entire season, obviously the obvious choice would have been Shangela and Trixie. I mean, I mean, Shangela was the front runner after Bendela stepped down, so there's no reason why she should not have been in the top two. And then Trixie, you know, she was getting her momentum, and she was, she's been performing the rest of, the second half of the season. So she, she found her groove, and it should have been those two, hands down.
What about you, Elias?
I agree. I think it's Shangela and Trixie.
Yeah, I think Shangela she's killed it. And she even said, like, she sent the most queens home. That's going to put her at a disadvantage. I mean, granted, I'm sick to death of her Game of Thrones talk, but I thought it should have been Shangela and Trixie in the top two. What did you feel about the method that they used to decide the top two? In terms of having the queens eliminated decide.
I mean, yeah, that to me was obviously, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about it. I just kind of felt like, if it was for ratings or if it was for, like Elias has been saying, it's good TV. But, I mean, it's a competition and it should have been fair to the end. And I felt it was very unfair the way that they did it and dropped Shangela.
Yeah, I think, especially in All Stars 2, it was that final episode where RuPaul kind of got to, like, set things right and send Roxy home when she'd kind of been dangled along the whole episode. So I kind of wish that he would have had that kind of step-in power, or let the other judges decide who gets to stay. I would love a season where Michelle Visage gets to pick, because she's pretty much right on the nose a lot of the time.
Yeah.
What did you think? Any other opinions on that?
No, I mean, it makes for good TV, so obviously that's why they kind of did it that way.
I think they needed another plot twist was the thing. Like, we knew the other queens would be coming back, so that wasn't that big of a surprise for the episode. Ben was a surprise, but I think they needed, like, a planned surprise, and that was it. So the lip sync, who do you think outright won the lip sync out of the two? So Kennedy and Trixie were set to lip sync each other. I was worried when I saw it was Kennedy because she is a pretty fierce lip syncer. What did you guys think? Who should have won?
If it was being judged from start to finish, Trixie, hands down, she stayed in one place, granted, but she was, she had the emotion, she had her heart in it. She was, like, performing, like, her face, like, lip syncing. Trinity was, like, one of those, like, little tops that you see spinning around, like, towards the end, like, around the stage. I'm just like, okay, this isn't, like, a dance sync, it's lip sync. So I think Trixie definitely won that.
What about you, Elias?
I think it was Trixie, too, because you could see the heart and emotion coming out from her face, and she was lip syncing. Kennedy did it great, but I think if she would have stuck to what she was doing from the beginning, like, do a few twists and turns, you don't have to keep doing a bunch, because you can't see your face.
Yeah. I liked Kennedy's better, and here's why. I do agree with you. She kind of got a little bit too rambunctious at the end. I did like when she started doing, like, the kicks. It was, like, very interpretive dance. So, like, during the slow parts and the emotional parts, she was very, like, face and, like, close and, like, struggle. But then when it was, like, the chorusy parts, she was in the background. It was very interpretive dance. Like, I wish she had, like, a ribbon to twirl or something. But I do think she picked up the pace too much towards the end, and it got a little bit too much like General Kennedy, which surprised me because she's usually very good at those, like, soulful songs and in capturing those. So I think that would be my only disagreement was I thought they both did really, really well, but I think that Kennedy did a little bit better. But RuPaul was probably looking at the competition as a whole as well. It probably wasn't just down to the lip sync.
She's probably thinking in her head, why isn't Shangela up there? Why is Kennedy here?
That's true. So who do you think should have won out of the? You can either say out of the top 4 that were left, or you can say the top 2. Who do you think should have won tonight?
I would have to say Shangela. I mean, she had the strongest track record. She has shown the most growth over the years. Mm-hmm. I mean, every time I see her on TV or social media, she's always, like, wowing. She has that wow factor every time you see her doing something out there, and she should have won this competition.
What about you, Elias?
It was always a toss-up between Shangela and Trixie. I love them both, so I'm happy for which one won, because Trixie has a lot of heart, and so does Shangela, and I think they were both deserving of it, so that's my opinion there.
I think I definitely would have to say Ben de la Creme should have won.
Well, that's not one of the choices, though.
I know, but White Out works 2 ways. Those girls could have wrote on White Out Bendela's name on those lipsticks, or Katya. They could have wrote Katya on the lipsticks. That would have been great. And she could have called Katya up with a bottle of water again. No, I would say out of the people who are left, I'm happy Trixie won. I think I'd have been equally happy if Shangela won. I think that though I liked everything that Shangela has done, I feel like she's relied a little too much on gimmicks. Like, there's been a lot of things that I wouldn't really call them part of the couture. I mean, it's part of a look, and it was shock value, like the inflatable ball she walked out in, or like the fat suit, or that inflatable pointy dress that she wore last week.
But that's what drag is. That's what it's all about.
It is what drag is, but it's like it felt less about like making a silhouette and more of like bigger. And I think that that's great sprinkled in. I thought it was just like a lot of that. So I think that Trixie has shown a lot of growth in her look towards the end of the season. I commented on how I didn't like how she was looking at the beginning, but I think she's pulled it up and made some changes. So I think I'd have been happy with either of them winning, but I think I liked Trixie the best. All right, so anything else you want to say about this season of All Stars so far, guys, or the end of this All Stars?
No, I don't know.
It was fun, exciting, lots of twists and turns.
Yes.
As expected for All Stars.
But I agree with RuPaul. No more whiteout.
Yeah.
No more whiteout.
Bendela killed it because she really let the air out of the season, and I was a little sad, but
I'm sure that's going to be in the rules now. You can't write your name in.
no more whiteout. You can't even use like white foundation, like nothing. All right, so that's all for All Stars Season 3. I can't wait to see you guys for All Stars, or not All Stars, RuPaul's Drag Race Season 10. Have a great night. This is Nick's Nerd Network, and we're signing off. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next season. If you like this episode of Nick's Nerd Network, please like and subscribe. If you have different opinions or would like to share some of your ideas, please share these in the comment section below. Please keep it constructive and friendly. Thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.